Hello and welcome to IPT286. I'm your instructor, Rick West. I'm in the Instructional Psychology and Technology Department. I'm a professor in that department here at Brigham Young University. And I'm excited to be able to teach this class to you this semester and to get to many of you in this class. Throughout this semester, you're going to have the opportunity to learn from various different videos that I will post for you, tutorials, as well as just instructional, informational videos. Many of those videos will be taught by other instructors because when we create tutorials, we share our tutorials amongst all of us. So you may get to hear a tutorial taught by another teacher. But just so you know, I am your instructor. I am Rick. When you see feedback from me, when you hear posts from me, get emails from me, I'm the one that's going to be sending that to you. So it's good to meet you. A little bit about getting to know me as your instructor. This is my family. Love them very much. We live here in Provo. And a few numbers of importance to me, at least in my career. 2003 is when I first started teaching IPT 286. I was a master's student at the time, and that was not that long ago. But back then, when we taught how to make class websites, we taught the students how to actually code in HTML using Netscape Composer, and it took about half the semester just to make a website. Things have changed quite a bit since then, and in fact, now you're going to make websites probably in about 2 weeks is about all it will take you, and it won't be that difficult. And your websites will look a lot better than they used to back in 2003. So technology continues to evolve and change, and it's been exciting for me to be able to watch it change and grow myself as a teacher of this class. I went away to the University of Georgia for my PhD. 2003 was when I was a master's student here at BYU. I went away to Georgia, got my PhD, and I came back to Brigham Young University in 2009 as an assistant professor. And just to let you know a little bit about me and my opinions about technology, 2011, so I've been teaching IPT 286 since 2003, but 2011 is when I got my very first cell phone, not smartphone, cell phone. The reason is because I just didn't need it before then. I wasn't afraid to get one, of course, but I just didn't need it. I used Google Voice, which is free, and it allowed me to make phone calls with my computer, and I always had my computer with me, so I just didn't need a cell phone. So, and then I got to the point where I did need one, and that's my kind of approach to technology. I think technology is a wonderful thing, but I try to only use it when I think it's useful and actually improves my life or my abilities as a teacher, and not to just fall prey to anything that's glitzy just because it's cool if it doesn't really do anything for me as a teacher or as a person. A little bit of personal information about me. 26.2, of course, is a marathon. That's one of my personal hobbies. I love to run. Run several marathons. May not get to do one again for a while. The last one beat me up pretty bad, but I do enjoy running quite a bit and try to do at least half marathons and 10Ks as much as I can. So, a little bit about technology. I love this comic from Mormon Comics. Available online if you Google search Van de Graaff. We know you are comfortable with at least some technology. You can't not be nowadays anymore. Many of you probably have phones, many of you probably have tablets, and I'm pretty sure that all of you use computers to some degree. So we know you're comfortable with at least some technology, and even more so, your students are very comfortable with technology. They use it all the time, but they may not use it in learning as much as they do for playing. I had a conversation with one of my daughters once, and I was asking her to do something for me, and she said something to the extent of, I know how to use this to play, but I don't know how to use this to work. And I think that's sometimes how we are with technology. We know how to play with it, we know how to play games, use it to social text social network with our friends, but maybe we don't always know how to use it as well in teaching and learning, and that's what I want to try to accomplish with this class. A few statistics on why this class is important. 94%, and this data is old. I guarantee that the numbers are much higher now than they used to be. But back in 2009, there was an article that came out that said 94% of classrooms have internet access, 4-to-1 ratio students to computers in classrooms on average. 90% of U.S. teens use the internet, usually every day, and usually from their own home. So some of the questions that I get asked sometimes is, well, can we use this technology, or will there be some students that because they don't have a home computer or something like that, or they're too poor, they're not going to be able to do the assignment if I give them an assignment? That's becoming less and less of a concern. Most of the technologies that we'll use in this class will be web-based technologies. So it doesn't matter whether you're on a PC or a Mac or even a tablet, and you can still do it. And as this says, 90% of US teens use the internet usually every day. A lot of those students go to the library if they don't have a home computer. That's the way it was in Georgia. I lived in one of the most poverty-stricken areas in the entire country. So I know what it means to come from an area where kids don't have, personal computers. But the kids went to school, went to the library every day and used the computers at the library. So most kids do have access to the technologies that we're going to be teaching you in this class. 55% use Web 2.0 technologies, social networking kinds of technologies. But only about half of them that are using them use them for teaching and learning. So we have a lot of kids using stuff, using technologies, but they're not using it to learn because we've failed as teachers to teach them how to use these technologies to learn. And this isn't even counting mobile devices. Remember that article was 2009. Well, smartphones pretty much exploded after that. They were around, but they became popular after 2009. And of course, if you go to church now, you'll see smartphones and tablets all over the place. But like I said, most students are not using these technologies in the classrooms. And the question we asked when we met together face to face is why? And I think there's various reasons. I think there is some fear associated with using technologies. So schools are fearful about letting students use their cell phones, for example. Teachers are fearful that if they let students use cell phones, that they'll lose touch with their students, lose control over them. It becomes a control issue a lot of times. There's also concerns about keeping them safe, as the internet does have many things that are dangerous. I think there's a lot of fear on the part of teachers that they don't know how to use technology very well themselves. And so they don't want to use technology in the classroom because they don't feel like they're very good at it. And I hope that we can get past that because I guarantee you, you will never be as good at using the technology as your students. Each new generation is better at using the technology than the older generation. I find that myself. Probably several of you in the class know a lot more about some technologies than I do, and that's okay. What I hope is that you'll teach me what you know, and I can teach you some of the things I know, and we'll just learn together. And I think that's kind of the new model for teaching in the 21st century is you will definitely have things that you can share with your students specifically about the content that you teach. And so it's okay if the students have some things they can teach you about technology. That's okay. And hopefully we can get past that and get to where we're comfortable using technologies in the classroom. Because as this researcher said, this educational researcher, it is no longer feasible for anyone to be fully literate in every technology. It's just not possible anymore. You can't be master of every technology that your students can possibly use. But digital literacy means knowing how and when to use which technologies and knowing which ones will be most useful. And that's what we hope to talk about in this class is give you options with various technologies that you can learn and then helping you to understand which ones you might be most likely to use to the greatest efficacy in your own teaching. So the goals of this class, we want you to learn a few technologies, skills that you can use, but we realize that whatever we teach you is probably going to be outdated in just a few years. So we don't want you to just learn some technology skills. We also want you to create a portfolio that can help you get your first job, get out on the market. And then we want you to learn how to learn new technologies. So whatever new technologies come, you can do it yourself and you can learn how to learn those technologies on your own. And most importantly, we want you to gain confidence. We want you to come out of here feeling like you are a technology savvy teacher and can handle whatever comes down the road. So this class is going to be a blended class. What does blended mean? Blended means it's going to be partly online, partly face-to-face. When we're online, you're going to be required to do online things like have online discussions. That will be part of your grade. When the class is face-to-face, you'll be required to come to class. Now you may ask, well, why are we doing it blended? Why not just do it completely online? Well, we find that blended learning tends to have better outcomes than both face-to-face learning and online learning. And the reason for that is because online learning does some things really well. Blended learning does some things really well too. Face-to-face learning does some things really well. And blended learning tries to take the best of both worlds and put them together to create the best possible educational experience for you. And that's what we've tried to do in IPT286. So sometimes we feel like the conversations that we need to have are better had in person. And so we're going to ask you to come to class and grade you on participation and attendance because we need you there so we can have those conversations. Other times we feel like you can probably learn things just as well on your own. And when we are having online classes, there will be some required, like I said, online discussions that you need to participate in, but they'll be very short. The rest of the time we'll give you some tutorials, and you can just learn the technologies that you need to learn on your own with the tutorials. And if that's overwhelming for you, we're going to still be in class every week, same time, same place, Mondays 4 to 5 p.m. And you're welcome to come to our class. And we'll be there. We can help you work on the assignment. It can just be homework time where you can just work on your homework and we can just be there to help, one-on-one, depending on how many people come. So you can definitely come to class every week if you want to. But for many of you, the tutorials will be sufficient. You'll be able to learn on your own with the tutorials. So do a little online discussion, a little conversation, and then the rest of the time you can just do it online with your tutorials and just ask us questions if you have questions. So I think it'll be more efficient for many of you as a more efficient and better learning experience. The biggest thing about the blended part of the class is just to pay attention to the calendar. So we are using syllabus, BYU syllabus, at syllabus.byu.edu. And then we're going to introduce you to another website called Canvas, where you can get all of the calendar, as well as all of the online discussions and assignments that we're going to be doing. And the most important thing is just to pay attention to the calendar. We'll be very explicit on the calendar about which weeks you have to come to class and which weeks you have to participate online and which weeks have optional, you can come to class if you want to and things like that. That will all be on the calendar and also in the emails that I send you every single week. So just pay attention to those and you'll be fine.